Karma Yoga, or the Yoga of Action, is a form of yoga based on the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, a sacred Sanskrit scripture of Hinduism. Of the three paths to realization, Karma Yoga is the process of achieving perfection in selfless action. Karma Yoga is primarily the practice of selfless service to humanity, whereby a spiritual seeker attempts to give their actions selflessly without hoping for merit, fame or glory. This tendency for a human being to have attachment to reward from action is termed in the Bhagavada Gita the fruits of action, meaning whatever one might gain from action, especially from the observation and applause of others. Practicing Karma Yoga eventually takes the seeker to the point of mental purification, oneness with humanity and inner peace by continually offering action selflessly to God and humanity. Ultimately, Karma Yoga practice brings true knowledge of the self and prepares one to be receptive to the divine light of God. Background: the Bhagavad Gita gives a summary of the Karma Yoga process. The Gita itself is a chapter from the epic known as Mahabharata, wherein a dialogue takes place between the prince Arjuna and his friend and chariot driver, Lord Krishna, on the brink of a great dynastic war. Their conversation is prompted by Arjuna as he is engulfed by sorrow and misgivings regarding the oncoming battle in which he has friends and relatives on both sides. In reply, Krishna then elucidates upon a number of philosophical yoga systems and practices through which Arjuna should indeed continue with the fight on righteous principles. Concept: Karma Yoga is described as a way of acting, thinking and willing by which one orients oneself towards realization by acting in accordance with one's duty without consideration of personal, self-centered desires, likes or dislikes. One acts without being attached to the results of one's deeds. Simply put, one does not get emotionally involved in the action being performed, becoming overly excited, upset or angry when the result of a deed is not as expected. The result may be negative or positive. Gita also talks about metta karma yoga, i.e. not getting irritated, annoyed or unhappy when one gets attached to the result even after trying to practice karma yoga. Krishna explains that work done without selfish expectations purifies one's mind and gradually makes an individual fit to see the value of reason. He states that it is not necessarily to remain in external solitude or remain actionless in order to practice a spiritual life, since the state of action or inaction is primarily determined in the mind. Quotations from the Gita: in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tasmad asakta satatam karyam karma samakara asaktu hyakaran karma param apnoti purusha. Therefore, without being attached to the results of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment one attains the supreme. Krishna then goes on to describe how Arjuna should surrender the results of his actions to him. Krishna: therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me, with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. Another important quotations from the Bhagavad Gita which elucidates Karma Yoga is, surrendering action, sattvika versus tamasika tyaga. Any conscious action is motivated by some expectation about the outcome, yet one is to be careful to not let this expectation be selfish in a certain sense. This is accomplished by surrendering ownership of action to Krishna. This surrender is called Sattvika Tyaga. Sattvika Tyaga ritual. The Sri Vaishnava tradition formalizes this by recommending the chanting of a shloka prior to the performance of any such significant karma. This shloka, with its meaning, is given below: Bhagavanda Svanyam ya sva shasha bhutina maya, sva radhana ekapraroyan yaridamanelti. Name of the karma and gt, svashmai svaprityai svalyam evakarayati. This translates to the auspicious deity exerting control on himself, using me as an instrument. Himself affects an LT name of the karma and GT, with his pleasure worship being the only purpose. The same shloka may be repeated after the performance of the action, except one replaces karayati to karayitavan to indicate past tense. Other mantras, the common refrain is used for the same effect. There is also the following shloka, which translates to, whatever I perform with my body, speech, mind, limbs, intellect to my inner self, either intentionally or unintentionally, I dedicate it to the Supreme Lord Narayana. Karma. As with a number of other philosophies in Hinduism, karma yoga is based on a general understanding of karma and reincarnation. It is believed that a man is born with certain tendencies, both positive and negative, from his previous lives, which push him toward performing certain actions in his present one. This process continues until the individual attains a zero balance, wherein one achieves liberation. This liberation is called moksha, which is achieved if the Hindu breaks the cycle of samsara. It can be achieved through Jnana Yoga. Schools of thought. Shankaracharya says that the practice of karma yoga purifies one's mind. Alternative interpretation of karma. Another meaning of karma as per Srimad Bhagavad Gita is the action prescribed by Bhagavan Shri Krishna. All human beings have Atma inside the heart. This Atma is part of the Paramatma. The goal of the human being is to unite the Atma with the Paramatma. The association of Atma with Paramatma, not unification, happens inside one's heart. That is, one experiences, understands the true nature of Paramatma and become associated with it inside one's heart and later in true Vaikuntha. Bhagavan Shri Krishna prescribes a certain process of worship and meditation for unification of Atma and Paramatma. This process is called as yagya. Performing the yagya as prescribed by Bhagavan Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is the real karma. Sankirtana yajna is prescribed for this age in all authorized scriptures and distributed by an incarnation of Lord Krishna as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as explained in Srimad Bhagavatam and other real Vyasa's scriptures. Any action other than yagya are the worldly compulsions and not the ordained action indicated by Bhagavan Shri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. The karma is done to attain liberation from the cycle of the death and birth and free oneself from the great fear of being old and death. Truth exists in the past, present and future. False never exists. Only Atma is truth, WRT consciousness. It is also Sanatan. Every human being need to know this Sanatan. It is duty of each human being to know this Sanatan. This is also called as moksha. Moksha frees Atma from cycle of being born in various life forms. Refer to Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 to 40, 2 to 41, 4 to 27, 18 to 46 to 18 to 47. The true karma is to implement the process of yajna. Refer to Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 to 8 to 3 to 9. Anything other than yajna is bondage of this world, sansar bandhan. The karma with its fruits given to Krishna is the one that frees us from sansar bandhan. The process of yajna is yoga sadhana. Refer to Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 5 and 6. Thus, only yoga sadhana frees us from sansar bandhan and helps us to achieve moksha. Anything else that we do in the world is due to our inner nature based on tamogun, rajogun and sattvagun. Anything other than yoga sadhana generates karma, krad, lobh, mad, moh and matso. The goal of yoga sadhana karma is to conquer karma, krad, lobh, mad, moh and matso, enemies of human being. Yoga also means realization of true nature of Atma, that is, it is part and parcel of Paramatma, and attaining Satsiti Ananda body and enjoying with him is sent to us. We are same as Vishnu in quality but not in quantity. So we should work for realizing that he is the cause of all, even us.